The guests pissed everybody off and then were offended when everyone was pissed off. Danni sucks at her job and blames Daisy, and Cloyce shits the bed at dinner.
I'm Morgan.
I'm Lane.
Welcome to Below Deck Experts. Hi everybody, welcome back to Below Deck Experts. Today we are recapping Below Deck Sailing Yacht, Season 5, Episode 13, Mid-Strife Crisis.
I don't know what strife means.
I thought maybe you would, and I forgot to look it up. So
Dang it.
I think strife means okay, here's my guess. Strife means like strife, like what word am I thinking of that's the same as it? Like a difficult thing.
Going
Conflict.
on strike, going on strike. Isn't that from SpongeBob? Or
Yeah.
am I making that up? Okay.
Yeah. Get back to work. And he's like, okay. And then they're like, no, you're on strike. Like SpongeBob doesn't
Yeah,
understand
right.
what strike is.
We're going on a strike.
Okay.
Get back to work. Okay.
So this means like mid-conflict crisis. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
Mid-conflict crisis. Like the whole Danni and Daisy thing?
Strife can mean like animosity, disagreement, controversy.
And we're in the middle of all that.
Argument. I think they were trying to be clever, but if you really break it down, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
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 Okay, the main points I have today are good riddance to these guests.
Yeah.
Daisy breaks down, then kisses Keith.
Yep.
And my patience with Danni has finally hit 0.
Yep.
Yep, and I'm done.
Yeah, it is, and I won't go too deep into it, but there's a point in the season where something in your brain just clicks,
I'm
and you're
done.
like, I wouldn't care if I never saw her again.
Yep, and it was
Him
this
or her.
episode for me.
It was this episode where I'm like, I don't care anymore.
She just had such audacity this episode.
Yeah, you can't hurt me anymore. You just can't.
So that kind of leads into my question. Who do you dislike more, Danni or Ellie?
Oh, I thought you were going to hit me with Danni and Diana. I'm like,
No.
that's easy.
This is a good one, isn't
Danni
it?
or Ellie? Oh my God, that is hard.
I know, right? Because I feel like the same exact thing happened where we gave Ellie a chance up until like about this point in
Yeah,
the
so
season,
much leeway.
and then we were done. Like it's like the exact same thing.
Yeah. I probably dislike Ellie more because there was just like 0 redeemable qualities.
Yeah.
Where Danni, there's like really none either. But
I was like, all right, hit me with it.
I was thinking maybe I'd think of something by the time I said it, but no. Pretty equal.
Yes, pretty equal. Here, I got 2 things. I agree. I think Ellie more because number 1, Ellie's older and she should know better.
She should know.
And 2, I think Danni would be funner to party with.
Yeah.
Like, Ellie is neither one of those things. Ellie's older, she should know better. And she's also probably not fun to hang out with.
Probably not.
No. Danni's at least a good time if you're like not friends with her and you just kind of hang out with her once.
Yeah, she probably has like a time slot in between like drink 3 and drink 5 where she's really fun. And
Yeah.
then anything else just sucks.
Yeah, then it just goes. What do you got for me?
I have. Oh, please excuse my French, but what the heck is going on? Now to my actual question.
What in the Sam Hill?
What in the Sam Hill's going on here? Why is Gary the way he is?
We don't have time for that.
Give me.
No, I that's a joke. I don't know him. Yeah. Contrary to popular belief, we don't actually know these people. But what are you referencing?
I guess just more of like what do you think about, oh yeah, man, I could see you guys together, like, yeah, I'm really rooting for you. And then like one drink later, he's like, I just don't understand, like, what's going on? I hate this.
I know. I want to say it's like partly the show, but I also think I've seen this before with like guys and girls that are like quote unquote friends or, oh, we're friends, we'd never be together, but they have this sort of like ownership over the other person. Like I feel like Gary has a sense of ownership over Daisy, which is not okay. Because I think he thinks he's better than Keith.
Which he's not.
Which he's not. And I think Gary still has this thing that he's like, if he really wanted Daisy, he could have her.
Yeah.
Which I hate.
Yeah.
So that's what I think it is. I think it's, it's my choice. If I ever decided I wanted Daisy, then she would be with me.
Yeah.
But no, Keith is 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
As far as we know. We don't know these people.
We do. Not.
Okay, let's just jump right into it because we start with a bang. Because I just I go into this episode and I'm just kind of chilling, and then we start off with the guests. What?
Can I read our texts?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Here, so we're just sitting there talking about. I think we were talking about pickleball or something. We were talking
That's
about.
all we talk about.
Yeah, pretty much. We were talking about pickleball and when we were gonna record this, and I was just like, "All right, sounds good. Can we do this? I want to go to my meeting." And then out of nowhere, just OMG, these fucking guests. Just wait till you see this shit.
What else did I say?
I was being nice to them last week, but fuck them. OMG, this episode is making me livid. Danny fucking sucks. Cloyce makes me physically uncomfortable.
Yeah, that all happened throughout this 45 minutes.
I said something else. She completely didn't read it and just put, I could punch Danny in the face.
I was mad. I never really care that much. But I think what happened was, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I had the idea that we were going to go into this and be like, oh, the guests are going to be like, oh, we kind of, thought that the service was just okay. And I thought they were going to give a well-rounded, all of you guys just did an okay job.
Yeah.
And then tip really shitty. That's not what happened at all. They tipped really well, which is okay, then what was the point of all of that? And then 2, they specifically shit on the girls. And I hated that because, first of all, you were so shitty to them.
Yeah.
And they're the type of people that are well, we were shitty to them, but then they were rolling their eyes at us.
Oh God! Don't get
basically
me started.
Baited them to hate them because they were being assholes, and then we're see, they rolled their eyes at us and they just didn't have patience for us. Well, I don't have patience for toddlers either.
Yeah.
For little baby screamy whiny bitches, that sent me because I felt for Daisy in that moment, and then it just gets worse for her. On because I know she tried, and actually as much as I dislike Danny, work-wise they do a good job.
Yeah.
And so I was also they were the boys were great but the girls sucked, and I wanted to be screw you. Yeah. What did the guys do that was so good?
You guys hated the water and sailing. That's all the guys do.
Exactly. So I think that's what got to me too, where I was their job is less to do with you. They get the water toys out or whatever. So you're going to be I loved them. Well, yeah, they didn't have to deal with your little petty bullshit.
Yeah. The thing that got me was they're yeah, it was great when it was to our face, but 2 hours later when they were in their own cabin, she rolled her eyes and I hated that. I'm no, you don't know.
That's what I was thinking too. I was okay,
what are saying shit.
I would have I know Captain's in a weird spot because they have to be yep, you're right. Guest is always right. We want the money, whatever.
Yeah.
But I would have been so tempted if I were Captain Glenn to be can you tell me specifically? Because that didn't happen.
No.
Then they would have been well, we didn't specifically see it. That was the vibe we got. I guarantee that's what they would have said.
Yeah. And it's when you're an asshole to someone, when you can't see them, they're probably not going to be thanks, mister. Fuck you.
You're going to be an asshole to them. What do you think they're going to go down there and be God, I love them.
Oh, I just love him.
Oh, you have the fart needles again?
Never mind what I'm having.
That's from A Million Ways to Die in the West, and it's a very kind of niche movie. It was never super popular, but it's very funny if you ever want to watch it. I don't even know what it's on.
I think I just watched it last weekend. I think it's on Netflix or Hulu.
Who I would guess because Seth MacFarlane, the guy that created Family
he's
Guy,
on Hulu.
Hulu. That's what I would just assume, but I could be wrong. So anyway, that set me off. I wrote, I don't even know what I'm referring to here, but I said, oh my God, say that to my face.
Yeah, honestly, the whole thing. Like, put me in there. Like, I'll get Glenn out of there. Put me in there.
Yes. And then, meanwhile, all of this is happening. The whole crew is outside the boat on the dock.
Yeah.
Waiting. They're like shitting their pants. Gary's like, pretend like we're going into battle, guys. Hold the line. And I actually laughed at that. I never try to laugh at Gary, but I thought that was funny.
Yeah. We'll pretend Keith said it. Keith's so funny.
He's so funny. He always knows what to say. He never says anything.
Never says
He really does.
Just like
He really-
Davide. Whenever he says something, I'm like, oh, what do you got, buddy?
I know. Oh, later on when the drag queens are on, I'm like, I'm not surprised in the least that Davide's done drag before.
Me neither.
I was like, there is nothing less surprising to
But
me.
the picture is hilarious because he's standing there like Dad is whenever he gets his picture taken, just like.
Oh my God. So then I wrote these bitches. I assume that was when they came out and they were like, did say basically like there were some things we didn't like. And did they specifically call, they did specifically call the girls out, I think, when they were there.
Yeah. They said, I feel like they were really nice to our faces, but when they went away, they were rolling their eyes and frustrated.
Did they say that to the girls or just Captain Glenn?
They said, they just said it to Captain Glenn.
Yeah, I can't remember what they said when they came out, but I think Daisy was like, obviously like upset at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Keith gives the girls a hug. Thought that was great.
Yeah.
Go Keith, love you.
Go Keith.
Don't fuck us, Keith, okay? We don't have a lot going this season.
No.
We really just have Daisy and Keith. And Daisy, we like her. I always like Daisy. But Keith, you've done nothing wrong up to this point.
Don't hurt us.
Don't hurt us. We can't take that. This is on the internet for forever. So then they go back and then does Danni immediately say something to Daisy?
Pretty soon after.
Yeah.
Like, pretty soon after. Like, why do it that soon?
Because what happened was Daisy, it was obviously split up for us, but that when Daisy said, don't you two have anything to do? That happened right before all of this.
Oh, that's right.
So that does kind of make sense, but it's been obviously a week for us. So Danni, I didn't write down exactly what Danni said to her, but she was basically like, you always snap at us. Like, you want us to do a good job, but you don't do a good job.
Yeah.
You don't care about quality or something like that. And it was just so out of pocket because none of it was true.
Yeah, and she has that way of like, just certain people do this when they're overwhelmed or whatever. They'll take one thing that they should have said and blow everything else up.
Yeah.
What she should have said was, I didn't appreciate the way
Right.
it felt like you snapped at me earlier.
Yeah.
That's what you could have said. Daisy would have been like, all right, I get it.
Right.
But she took that and exploded it with everything else that she could think of.
Yeah, and then did the character attacking, which is like bullshit because it's just uncalled for unless you have specific instances where Daisy said, fuck these guests, I'm not doing anything, which she's never done. She kind of just threw everything at her. So Danni was mad that Daisy snapped at her and Chase, which I actually am going to defend Daisy in that moment. She has the right to do that.
Yeah.
And Daisy even says, I quoted these two things. She's a billboard for Gen Z, which is so true.
Yeah.
You have to coddle them. And I don't want to sound like an crotchety millennial here, but like it's a common theme in Gen Z that you have to think about their feelings and their emotions and mental health therapist here. I love that. There's a time and place for everything. You can't always be coddled.
I think I'm Gen Z.
You're like right on the cusp.
Yeah, I'm like one of the oldest Gen Zs.
Yes. And then
what do you mean by that?
but like I was like, yes. And then she says, she thinks I'm her equal and I'm not. And that's exactly what it is. Danny's treating Daisy like they're equals. And Danny, like, she can't believe what she's saying when she's like, Daisy's threatened by me.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
Do you actually believe that?
That's delusion. There's
Yes.
no way.
She is like, again, I truly want to know if she actually believes that or if she was like, yeah, no, I was just pissed and I said that, because
I know.
I would respect you so much more if you were like, yeah, that was like really shitty to say. I was just like pissed. But you can't actually believe that.
I know. I wish we would get like an interview with all of them after the season where they take off the mask. And
right.
Like, yeah, I didn't fucking mean that. That was stupid.
And I guess that could happen on like their Instagram or something if they chose to. But I don't know. Maybe there's a reason why. I'm not in the showbiz, baby. So, what else did I have? That was basically it. I said Danny has to come for Daisy because she feels offended and she wants to look like the good guy. Like, that's the other part of it. She basically wants people to be on her side.
Yeah.
Because she ends up telling people, like, she ends up telling Gary, which I'm mad in a little bit that Gary didn't defend Daisy a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you remember that part?
Yeah. He was just a dick about it.
She tells Deanna. Deanna doesn't agree with her.
Yeah.
She's like, why did you say that?
Yeah, she's like, why?
Oh my
idiot.
God.
You little dummy. What are you doing?
She's like, I'm just trying to make my money and get back to Russia.
She Deanna tried to play the game for a while, and then she's like, you know, fuck it. I don't even want to drink at the night out. I had 3 drinks. Like, I'm just gonna do my job. Like, I don't even care.
So then, as if Daisy hadn't been 1-2 punched already, then she has to talk with Glenn.
Yeah. Who actually needs to talk to her.
Right. Who wasn't being mean.
No.
Like, he was being Captain Glenn. But, of course, I knew how Daisy felt in that moment. You're just so overwhelmed. All of this has been thrown at you. And you're like, I just need to go cry for 5 minutes.
Yeah. You're like, I just need to hit something, cry a little, and then I'll be fine.
Right. So, like, of course, like, she says, like, she leaves. Captain Glenn's like, yeah, take your time, come back whenever. So I did actually count a bingo card for me that Daisy rolls her eyes at Captain Glenn. I know maybe she didn't really roll her eyes, but it's my game, and I say that I get it.
I just don't even know how I won the last one, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's true. What's the name of this game? I win.
I win. Still playing it to this day.
Always. So yeah, she goes and takes her break. That was when Danny tells Deanna what she said to Daisy. I wrote the quote. Danny said to Deanna, she's unmotivated and doesn't care. And Deanna's like, no, that's not true.
Yeah,
like,
she's like, no. And then Danny's like, well, I respect you for having that opinion. Like, no, you don't.
She goes, and then she's like, well, what am I supposed to do, Deanna? And I wrote, I don't know. How about shut up?
How about shut up and do your damn job? Like, that's the easiest thing you could do. Is just shut the fuck up.
I don't know. I have an idea. Maybe stop talking.
Tag me in, Deanna.
I got an idea.
I got an idea.
Yeah. And then we get the interview with Deanna, and she's like, she thinks Daisy's great, and she goes, the priority for Danny right now is flirting with guys, and that's all.
Yeah. I think it was Daisy that said it later in the episode where she was basically just like, yeah, she's forgetting that she's not on vacation.
Right.
But she's not on vacation.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, it's been the whole season that way.
Yep. Yeah, which is like, again, like, like when you work on yachts and you're in your early 20s, it's fun. It's meant to be fun. But it's like, I feel like Deanna is doing a good job at balancing, like, when work is work, and then when we go out, and it is fun. I feel like we've had other people on the show that are really good at balancing that too, where it's like, yeah, the reason I'm doing this is to just make money and drink on our off days and be on a boat. And that's Danny's, but, like, Danny forgets that there's a time to be professional, basically.
Yeah. She's really good at the unprofessional part.
Very, yeah.
Yeah.
I think she'll look back on this and be embarrassed. That's my guess, but I don't know her. So, so, so I was just still so mad at this point that Danni goes, great, now she's going to make my life hell. And I was like, number one, no, she's not. Number two, that's what happens. It's like the guests. What? They're going to make our lives hell now because we treated them like shit. Oh, wow. Are you surprised?
Yeah. Like when you punch someone in the face, typically they want to punch you in the face.
Right.
It's just kind of how the real world works.
It's such entitlement. It was entitlement from the guests for them to treat them like shit and then expect them to come back with a smile on their face. And it's entitlement by Danni to think she can just say those shitty things to Daisy and Daisy just has to take it. Like, no, you don't have to. That's one thing you get out of life is you get to have an opinion.
Yeah.
Some people shouldn't.
No.
But everybody does.
Everyone's got one.
That's all you have to say about that?
I was kind of spacing out a little.
What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
So yeah, then Daisy goes back and talks to Captain Glenn. It's fine. He's not like mad at her. Like they just basically, I didn't write anything down because it was basically just like, hey, keep your head up, like moving on.
Yeah, he was like, you piece of shit, Daisy. I hate you. Die. I was like, Glenn, relax.
Jeez, Glenn.
Jeez, man.
He does get a little feisty next week.
Yeah.
You think it's Gary?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 90% sure it's Gary.
Yeah, because no one else is really on the verge of doing anything.
Could be Danni.
I was thinking that, but I just don't think he would care enough.
Yeah, it's either Gary or Danni and Chase do something.
Oh, I could see that.
Like they could do, like, okay, this is kind of off topic, but okay, they keep hooking up in the master. Mm-hmm. I thought that was like a no-no, or like only if it was like one-time special occasion.
I think it's different for each captain, because we've seen it where like there's a couple on board and they go there every time like they're doing. But then there's been other times where they have to like sneak around.
Right. Or they're like in one of the bunks and their bunkmate has to go sleep in another room. Like,
yeah. Or like Aisha's fiance comes to town and she has to ask Captain if she can use it.
Yes. Yeah. That's a great example.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, they're just literally, and then they do it again.
And everyone knows, like, Daisy talks about it.
Right. Okay. So here's my question, because it gets brought up later with either Gary or Keith or someone says to Daisy, like, Danni doesn't realize like the favor you're doing her basically by letting her hook up with Chase and the master. And then Daisy goes, well, they have to clean it anyways. So here's my question. Number one, there's only two options here, really. Mm-hmm. Number one, it hasn't been cleaned, which means there's doing
poop everywhere.
They're doing it in a bed that the guests slept in that didn't.
The guests pooped on.
You know what the guests probably did in those sheets. That's gross. That's the first option. The second option is that it's already been cleaned and now you're making Deanna re-clean it with you. Yep. They're both bad.
Both are pretty bad. Yeah.
Right? Those literally the only two options.
Yeah. Why is Deanna in there helping her?
I know.
Like, I wouldn't, like I said last week, I don't do that.
No, our listeners agreed. Like, they were like, yeah, fuck that. I would not.
No.
So, hopefully it's number one and they're just gross individuals.
Yeah,
and
but
Deanna
the guests are going number 2 in the bed. Am I right?
Stop saying that. You're like, what? Doesn't everybody poop their bed?
What, everybody poops the bed.
You don't have to clean your sheets every night?
You're supposed to clean your sheets?
Yeah. When's the last time you cleaned yours?
Last time I pooped the bed? No, I'm kidding.
Yesterday?
Yesterday. This morning. Whatever. Move on.
So yeah, like I said earlier, the tip ends up being good, which is like, okay, what was the point of all of that then? You could have literally just left.
If I was Captain Glenn, I would be like, why did they waste my time?
Right.
Like, he's a busy guy. He's got stuff to do.
Yeah, he's got to go watch his iPad.
Yeah, he was watching a soap opera this week or something. Oh my God,
that was so great.
That was hilarious.
I feel like they just added that audio in. He actually wasn't watching that. They were like, this is a good joke.
Yeah. I feel like him and Brad are on the same YouTube channels.
Oh my God. Sometimes I look over and see what Brad's watching and I'm like, wow, they make YouTube videos about that and people watch it. It'll be like watching people cutting boards. Like,
in different ways.
yeah. I should update every week. I should give like, here's what Brad was watching on YouTube.
You should.
It's like pickleball sometimes.
But we all love pickleball.
It's other people playing video games, which I know is a common thing that like guys watch, which I think is very weird, but it's a thing. People building random stuff.
Yeah.
It's just who knows what he's doing. Let's see. Sometimes I write these notes and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I'll know what I mean. And then I get here and I don't know what I mean.
That's what I do. I write notes and I'm like, I'll read these. Never do. I'm just looking at my phone.
I wrote, Keith and Daisy are talking about Danni's character. Oh, Danni's character assassination. Mm-hmm. She did the same thing to Keith. And he didn't remember at the beginning of the season when she decided Keith didn't want her and then she just started talking shit about him.
Yeah.
And he's the nicest guy.
He's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
But this is where we get a little bit of the Keith and Daisy chemistry. Did you watch the episode?
Yes.
You're quiet today. I feel like I'm talking a lot. And when I talk a lot, people get mad at me and talk shit about me in the comments.
They do. They're always nice to me.
Lane's literally never gotten a negative comment. Can someone just leave a negative comment about Lane this week?
Hit me.
Like,
I dare you.
I guarantee they're not gonna. I guarantee it's gonna be about me.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get negative comments that are about both of us. But it's
Mostly
never
about
not me.
It's never not me. No, I keep thinking of things to say, but then I'm like, no, that's stupid and has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I'll try and keep it on topic.
No, it's fun.
What if they added small trampolines to pickleball? Like, that'd be pretty cool. Like, put them in the kitchen.
Okay, I thought you meant something that had to do with Below Deck, but was off topic.
I was, but I just had that thought and I had to share it.
So if the kitchen for pickleball was like a trampoline area, or just like there was just a spot that was a trampoline?
Either one.
Well, the spot that's a trampoline would be kind of like whatever.
True.
It would just die when it's there. But I don't know. I don't know that you don't really step in the kitchen a lot. So I think if it was a trampoline, you would just step in there and then just kind of like break your ankle and be done. You're not really bouncing.
True.
Dumb idea.
I'll come back to you on that one.
Don't give me any more of those.
All right.
Okay, so then then this is where I was like, Cloyce makes me physically uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was wondering why you said that, because he texted me that.
But do you know why I said it?
Was it the 17 thing or whatever?
That was cringy.
Yeah,
yes.
that was weird.
That was very weird, because I was like, okay, here's my note. I said, Cloyce says, I like the psychology of an older lady. Weird. I said, what does that mean? And then he tells us a story about an illegal relationship.
Yeah. Just don't. Next time.
I don't think I'd put that out there if I were you,
No.
but that's just me. I mean, we all kind of did stupid stuff when we were that age, but I'm not telling everybody about it.
Yeah, when I was 17, someone that was 23 was a full-grown adult that paid taxes.
Right.
Yeah, no.
No. Yeah. But the other cringy part of this is that Chase is like hyping him up.
Yeah.
And actually thinks he has a chance.
Yeah, no, those are two forces that should not come together.
And like, I feel like Cloyce and Chase like are on the same maturity level.
Delusion.
But Chase is older than Cloyce, so it's even more cringy for him.
That and Chase is better looking, so things are easier for him.
Yeah, true.
So he kind of can be dumb.
Yep.
But Cloyce isn't bad looking.
No, he's just...
But he's not like 6 whatever that Chase is.
And built and...
Yeah, the guests were cracking me up later when they're talking about cloistering dinner.
What'd they say?
They're saying stuff like, what's his name? And someone else is like, is he old enough to have a name? Or have they named him yet? I'm like, that's a great joke.
Yeah, they kept saying how young he was, and they were kind of being shitty to him because of it.
I was
First of
cracking
all,
up.
balls of fried cheese, you're never going to hear a complaint from me.
No.
Ever. Call it a croquet if you want. I'm going
Yeah.
to eat it.
Call it balls if you want. I'm going to eat them.
Is it a croquet or croquette? Because I think it's croquette, and I just said croquet, and that's a game.
Yeah, but it was funnier with croquet. Or croquette, whatever you said.
Croquet.
It was funnier the first time. Anyways, we're talking about balls. I'm not sure what's going on.
I haven't heard of croquet in so long. I think it's an English thing.
I bet mom and dad still have the set that we got when I was 7.
I was just going to think of it. We had a croquet set. I know we have some listeners that listen from, like, the UK. Mm-hmm. Do you guys still play croquet?
Is that a thing?
Is that still a thing? We never play it over here. I actually don't even know why you got one when you were 7. Because I've never seen one since.
I think I just liked it because one of them was green, and I liked green at the time.
Yeah, let us know. Any
Still
croquet
do.
players in here? That'd be cool if there was. Oh, I have another random thing that was hilarious in the moment. Danni says, I hate fighting, but I thought she said, I hate farting because of her accent.
Oh, I thought she said farting too.
Did you because I actually
at
thought she
dinner?
said farting. No, I think it was in like either an interview or talking about, now she's backtracking, right? Because nobody's on her side.
No.
So she's tested the waters. Everybody's kind of like, that was a little weird. You shouldn't say that. And so now she's like, I hate fighting. I don't want to fight. But when she said, I hate fighting, it sounded like I hate farting. And I was like, okay, that's a little thing that's a little weird to say.
I hate farting.
What is her accent? Now I can't remember. No.
Dumb. No, I'm kidding. She's dumb. Her accent's not dumb.
Oh, I think she said it at dinner. That this was when they were the night out. Mm-hmm. I said, weird fact to throw out at dinner, but you do you.
Yeah, I thought she was talking about farting.
Yep. Nope. It was fine.
Like, until now, I thought she was talking about farting.
That's great. Yeah, no, that was at dinner. This is when Captain Glenn was watching his Spanish soaps, which if I had to put money on it, I don't think he actually was. I think they like dubbed that in. He was probably watching something random.
I just like to think that he was.
I do too. I don't know what his where his girlfriend is from. Maybe if she's Spanish or speaks Spanish, then that would make maybe more sense because he's trying to learn it.
That was my thought too.
But
was like, yeah, I'll watch this to learn the language, or like help me learn the language. But then he got into it.
that's what they say. Like a lot of Spanish speakers that are trying to learn English watch like soap operas. Because if you
really?
think about it, the language is not difficult.
True.
Like it's pretty like pedestrian.
It's a really nice way of saying dumb.
Well, yeah, like it's not the best writing you're ever gonna see, with the most extensive grammar.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, if you wanted to learn Spanish, like you could watch some Spanish soaps.
I used to.
Did you?
Yeah, when I was, I worked at the, auto body shop or whatever.
Farm and Fleet?
Yeah, when they, when we weren't busy, that was always on, so I was watching it.
How long did you work there? It wasn't very long,
It was like 2 months.
Yeah. Why did you get a different job?
No, it was a summer job.
Oh, I briefly remember that.
Yeah.
You worked at the Y for longer.
Yeah.
You were a lifeguard for longer.
Hated that.
What else did you do?
GameStop.
Oh, yeah. You didn't work there for very long either.
No, that was a holiday hire.
Okay. Where else?
The Y was like a couple of years.
Yeah, because you'd like go back.
I'd go back and forth because the certification or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was it.
I worked at Kroger, which like that was like I worked there through high school and college, like on and off. I worked briefly at Family Video
Did you really?
in Clinton.
Oh, in Clinton.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that.
I vaguely remember it too because I don't know how long I worked there, but it was awful. Number one, they paid like $5 an hour. It was something ridiculous. Iowa didn't have the law that Illinois had that they had to give you breaks. So I literally got no breaks. And if you did take a break, there was no break room. It was wild. There was literally no break room. Like, there was no fridge where you could put your lunch anywhere. Like, it was wild. It was a family video that was, think of a family video. That's all it was. There's no back rooms, nothing.
There's like a door painted on the wall.
Yeah, no. So I think I worked there for like a couple months max because that sucked. And then the girl, I couldn't even tell you her name. She was my supervisor. She made us you had to wear like black slacks, which is crazy,
Wild.
right? For a family video.
Yeah.
But I assumed you could wear like black jeans. Mm-hmm. I came in black jeans one time. She ripped me a new asshole.
Jesus.
She's like, what do you think you're wearing? And I'm like, black pants? Like, go home. She literally made me go home and change.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was wild. That was a wild time in my life.
Who gives a fuck?
I know. For literally like $5 an hour. I'd work a whole shift and make like $50.
Yeah.
Crazy.
$50.
Anyways. Last thing I'll say about like high school, college jobs, I wish I could go back to the rush you'd get when you get a paycheck of like $200.
Oh, I think about that all the time. I'm like, I didn't even enjoy the fact that none of it was going anywhere I didn't want it to.
I know. It's the best.
It was just mine. I could do whatever I wanted. I spent it on stupid shit,
Yep.
but I could.
Yep.
You
Like
know,
food.
Not half of it's going somewhere.
Yep. Good times.
Good times.
I wish I
man.
could get that excited over a paycheck. You don't get excited over a paycheck at all anymore.
I'd get a paycheck for like $400 and be like, I'm set for life.
Yeah, like I'm good for like 2 months. Like,
Yeah.
crazy.
I can spend that in an hour
Oh,
nowadays.
easy. You can't even leave the house for less than like $200 now.
Seriously.
You really can't.
If you leave town, that's like $400.
There will be days where like I pay all my bills and then like I feel like I'm in a really good spot and I'm like, oh, I feel good. And then that night I'll have to buy groceries and pet food and then I'll book a vet visit and then I'll, what else? I have to like pay my gym membership and like you're already back up to like $500. I'm like, cool.
You do all of that, and then you like go to the gas station to get a drink or something, and then it's like ding, ding, ding. You're like, son of a bitch, that's like another $80.
Right. Oh, anyway, let's get back on track.
Anyways.
So, Gary tells Keith to go for Daisy because Keith, did he ask Gary?
Yeah, he just kind of like felt him out.
Yeah.
He was just like, yeah, like I don't want to ruin our friendship over, whatever me and Daisy
That's true.
are. He was just being a nice guy about it.
Yeah, I still think it's like, fuck Gary. Like,
Yeah, no.
I don't care what he thinks. But I think his point was like he didn't want to like step on his toes if like they were actually starting something.
Yeah.
It's not really like he's asking Gary for permission. It was like, hey, are you and Daisy anything? I don't want this to become a weird thing.
Yeah, and you also want to get, like, you kind of want to feel him out to see if there actually is something going on and Daisy's lying to him for some reason. And you don't know.
My next note is Chloe, stop. I'm uncomfortable, but I don't know why I said that.
He does something weird.
He does.
He says something to Daisy.
Yes.
I forget what it is, but it's like some shitty pickup line. You're like, all right, next.
If
next
you guys
scene.
remember it, comment it, because I do want to remember it, but I can't. It was like, and Daisy like handles it like way better than I would, because I would have been like, what did you just say? But she kind of just takes it. She's like, haha, yeah, thanks, or whatever, but what?
I'm just imagining someone trying to hit on you because you would just laugh at them and make them feel bad about themselves.
You know, I go one of two ways. I'm either that, where I know exactly what to say, or I'm the most awkward person ever.
Same.
As I'm getting older, I'm getting more awkward.
Same, and it's not good because I'm single.
Yeah, that's not good for you. At least I got one that knows how awkward I am and stays with me. But I swear, I used to be so good at like reading situations, and like now I'll say one weird thing to our waiter at dinner and think about it for the rest of the night.
Same, I hate it.
Why? I used to never care. I think it's partly because of remote working.
Yeah, I think it is too.
I'm not put in those situations where I have to like make small talk with coworkers.
It's great, but then it's not great when
Right.
you're in public and
Exactly.
you're like, oh shit, these are real people.
Right. Yeah. You know what I said to Brad the other day? I was like, my coworkers are my pets. Imagine if you had coworkers that don't talk and are constantly trying to trip you.
That'd be better than my coworkers.
You lost me at don't talk.
Yeah, you lost me there. I was already in.
So yeah, Keith tells Daisy he's into her. She says, I like that you're into me. I was like, Daisy feels the same. They kiss. Oh my God. And then Cloyce is like, Arnor.
Yeah, and they make him look so bad. Because he's like in this booth where he already looks small. Oh. And then he like tries to get up and then like kind of falls. And I'm like, come on, man.
Don't do that to my dog.
Don't do that to my dog, man. He makes the food.
You know, I have to give it to Cloyce. Like, he has been pretty unproblematic since his rocky start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see as we close out this episode because the guests complain about his fried cheese balls. I wouldn't.
I'd eat his balls.
You know what I want to do, especially because we have these mics? I want to do the sweaty balls skit from SNL. It's an old Christmas one. Do you remember it? They're like, show us your balls. It's like a AM radio.
Oh,
we'll have to watch it, but it's funny because they're on these mics and they're like, they're just basically making like ball jokes. I wish I could remember one, but they're talking like this, like really quietly into the mic.
And I hate it.
So
that's funny.
Yeah, so then they get back. Danni and Chase go to the master. I said, I swear she better clean that on her own tomorrow.
Nope.
Then I think Gary makes like a comment to Daisy about something that has to do with Keith. And I said, no, Daisy, do not let Gary fuck this up. Because I think it just reminded me of exactly what he did with her and Colin. Mm-hmm. Where he just kind of would make like tiny little remarks and Daisy would get in her head about it.
Yeah.
So I hope that doesn't happen. Like, do not let, like, it's on Daisy if she lets Gary fuck this up because she's been through it once. Do not let him do that again.
Yeah, and I could see him, and we already see it, like he, next week is going to go out with the guests and drink too much.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to like drink too much and do something stupid and blame it on Daisy not paying enough attention to him or
You're
Daisy playing with his heart or, pick a stupid reason.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I forgot that the guests asked them to go out. Mm-hmm. I bet you're right. It's one, like Gary goes out, gets too drunk.
Blames it on Daisy.
Well, I don't know that I'm going to predict that. That could happen, but it makes more sense now that it's Gary that gets in trouble with Captain. Because we didn't know, I didn't put that together when we saw Captain get mad at somebody. I was like, I wonder what he gets mad about, but I'm 99% sure now it's because they keep bringing up how the guests want the crew to go out with them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was basically it for the night out. We wake up the next morning and I forget who Daisy was talking to. It was either like Gary or Keith. Might have been Gary. About like you just need to talk to Danni or whatever. And I don't know exactly what was said, but she goes, I'm not taking a toddler for a little treat.
Oh, yeah. Gary was like, just take her out for ice cream and talk to her one-on-one. She's like, I'm not taking the toddler out for a little treat. I thought that was funny.
I was like, yes, same. That's exactly what I would say.
Yeah.
I am not rewarding this bad behavior. Are you kidding me?
Not making a camera crew schlep their way to an ice cream parlor.
Yeah, to take the toddler out for a little treat.
Yeah.
So then we get our new charter, and I am so pumped because it's Detox. Okay, so full transparency, I'm like mad about this. I have not seen the season that Detox is on. I think Detox was on season 6 or 7, and I started RuPaul's at season 8. It was the Lane, he won't know any of this. I was the season that Bob the Drag Queen won, and then I've gone forward, and I'm at the current season, which I think is season 16. Then my plan was, I don't know why you guys care about this at all, but I'm going to tell you what my plan is. I'm going to then watch All Stars, and then I will probably go back to like the original season 1. So anyways, I have not seen the season that Detox is on, and I'm kind of sad about that.
Yeah, me too.
But then we also have Detox's friend Lola LaCroix, but I've never heard of Lola, and I don't think she's been on Drag Race. But she's very pretty. They're both really pretty. They want to party with the crew. The next thing we see is Daisy and Danni talking, which I said, Daisy's a better person than me. She handled that, I think, perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
She like set boundaries with her, and then she kind of threw in there very tactfully the cabins thing.
Yeah. Yeah, she like just slipped it in there a little bit like, hey, I could take this away from you.
And Danni changed her tune real quick about that. And she's like, you're right. Like, she basically apologized. It's whatever. I hope it's the end of it. What I don't want to see is Danni continue to talk shit to the producers in her interviews, because that's just shitty. Like, just give it up. Let it be done.
Give it up, girlfriend.
So then we have... Okay, this is another one of my bingo things that I counted. It might have been yours. I don't know whose card it was on, but one of the bingo squares is a guest comes on to Captain Glenn.
Yeah.
And I counted this, even though it's a little bit stretching it. But I think it was Detox or someone says, what's the best way to convince Captain Glenn to let you guys come out? Anal?
I had that written down too.
So I was like, I'm going to count that, even though it's technically not, but it was hilarious. So then they start sailing, and I was like, see, these guests appreciate sailing.
Yeah, I literally wrote down, see how normal people do it? They just enjoy the fact that they're on a gigantic sailboat, and they don't fake throwing up or complain the entire time. They just enjoy life.
Yes, like normal people.
Like normal people do, yes.
Oh my gosh, someone in our comments this week made such a good point. They're like, why didn't she get up and go to the bathroom?
Yeah, that was a really good point.
I didn't even think of that. I was like, yeah, you're right. Why would you still sit at the table and be like, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. And then, like, your first instinct is to either go to the bathroom or go to the side of the boat at least.
Yeah, and I see how the side of the boat wasn't ideal,
right,
because they're kind of like this.
Right.
Like, you're either going to puke on the side of the boat or fall into the water.
Oh, God. That would have been the icing on the cake with these guests.
That would have been hilarious.
I bet they're required to sit.
Probably.
Because they're not wearing life jackets.
You're probably right.
You know what I mean? I think they probably say, hey, we're going to sail. You either have to wear a life jacket or sit, and most of them don't want to wear a life jacket.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I think that would make sense. They're drinking. That's a little dangerous.
Yeah.
Especially, with people who don't sail typically. So then they serve them fruit.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's weird, this tastes like garlic. And then they go down. I think it's Daisy or whatever goes down to Cloyce, and they're like, they're saying it tastes like garlic. Like, did you cut anything on the cutting board? He's like, no. And then it cuts to his interview, and he goes, it was an onion. I thought that was hilarious.
Like the type of lie where it like doesn't really hurt anybody.
Yeah,
You're like, fuck.
He's like, I didn't lie. It wasn't garlic.
It wasn't garlic. I'm not a liar.
Okay, so then we basically get to dinner. Did you want to talk about dinner?
Yeah. How did we decide we're pronouncing it? Croquet?
Let's go with croquette.
Crotchet. Got it.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Croquette with Spanish rice and lemon aioli.
Love that.
So croquette is basically a deep fried roll that you can just stuff in whatever you want. And he put aioli and a bunch of cheese in there.
Yeah.
And it sounds amazing.
Sign me up.
I mean, we're also from the Midwest, so grain of salt.
I'm never going to complain about.
Cheese is great. Yeah, and they kind of complained about it, but they were also like, this is really good. I thought it was kind of funny. They sent their stuff back, and Chef Cloyce is like, man, I don't know what's wrong with them. I would smash 3 of those. And someone was like, what's in them? And he's just like, sex.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
I'm like,
Okay,
it's funny,
bro.
but also like the 12-year-old in me thought that was funny.
Yep. So they have those. What else?
Arugula salad with goat cheese, which is, just a fucking salad.
Yeah. Guests love to complain about salads.
Yeah.
Like, what can you do with a salad? I'm sorry.
What in the name of Davy Jones is a salad?
Salad.
No buns? Happening.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then that's when they're like, where's our little man? They're like,
Where's our little man?
They're like, have they named him yet? Oh, that's so funny. And then I think we cut off where he's getting the steaks ready and he's trying to smoke them.
Yes.
And that's kind of the end of the episode where the thing breaks.
I did put in the middle of dinner, I said, Lola, shut up, girl.
Yeah, she
Shut
was
up about
really
the balls.
complaining.
I know.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Just enjoy.
Yeah.
Don't make me get mad. The last thing I want to do is be mad at a drag queen, okay? I love them. I want to be held by a drag queen. Don't make me hate you. So yeah, then we get cut off. They're having smoker issues.
Yeah.
And they're counting down the minutes, like, from the...
Yep. It was like 7 minutes.
Yeah. I think it actually did get to, like, 15, which is kind of a lot, but...
I've waited 45 minutes for Burger King before.
Is that a pretty low point in your life?
Pretty low. Pretty down there.
Yeah, so the coming up on, all I said was, Gary gets in trouble, I think.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah, it seems like he got hammered with the guests after, I was going to say Uncle Glenn, Captain Glenn, said, you guys can have 2 drinks, be back by 2 in the morning, I think is what he said. And Gary got hammered.
I'm excited to see that. I hope they don't. Well, no, we should definitely see it next week. I was going to say, I hope they don't stretch it out for another week. But
yeah, they'd really have to stretch it if
they would.
We don't get that next week.
Yeah. So I'm excited. This was a good episode. There was a lot to talk about. One thing, we saw the preview for Below Deck Down Under. Well, I did. Lane didn't. Mm-hmm. February 3rd. So that's exciting. We shouldn't really have a break between... We might have like a 1-week break, but maybe not even. Because it's already January. Like the first week in January.
It's a day in January.
It's like a month from now, basically. So that's exciting. That's what we will be covering next. The preview looked really good. There's a sous chef.
Oh, nice.
I know. I thought you'd be excited about that.
I've been waiting for that.
Oh, wait. And I said this earlier. I said Harry was the only returner. Wrong. Zarina.
Oh, nice.
She's back.
Nice.
There's a lot of drams. So from what it looks like, oh, shoot. I wrote it. I thought I wrote a note on it, but it's somewhere else. There's Zarina, a sous chef, a new chief stew. Looks like there's some drama between Zarina and the chief stew.
Ooh.
We love chef and chief stew drama.
Yeah, we do.
The sous chef, also drama with Zarina.
There's gotta be.
Right, yeah. And then there was one other thing I was excited about, but I can't remember. Comment what you're excited about for that, if you saw the preview. Even if it's like, it was basically a thirst trap for Captain Jason.
Nice. Now I gotta watch it.
And yeah, I think that's it. That was the note I wanted to make at the end there.
Cool.
Got anything else?
Word of the day.
Yeah. What do you got?
Balloon knot.
Balloon knot? Is that a thing?
It means butthole.
Oh, God.
No, that's not the word of the day. But that's what I had written down.
Don't comment that, because you know what? Then YouTube is probably going to flag it or something.
I mean, we had a bunch of people put eat cheese douchebag.
That was so good. That was a really good word of the day. I'm trying to look through mine.
Croquette.
Ooh, that cheese ball.
Cheese.
Fried cheese balls.
Fried cheese balls.
That's a pretty good one.
Fried cheese balls.
Okay. That's a secret word. Fried cheese balls. Not our best work, but you can't win every week. You know?
Can't win every
you
week.
can't hit a home run every week. So let's go with that. But then, yeah, they have a lot of things to tell us in the comments. Tell us what you're most excited about for the new season. Tell us that one quote that we forgot that Chloe said on the night out.
Your favorite odd or even number.
Your favorite drag queen from RuPaul's, if you watch. That's a good one.
The street you grew up on, your mother's maiden name.
Your social security number. Whatever.
Don't put anything I said in there.
No, not mine either. That'll definitely get flagged. We need the views. All right, guys. That's all we got for you this week. We'll see you next week.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.